Good day, everyone, and welcome to our course, Building and Enhancing New Literacies Across the Curriculum. So, we are now on our sixth chapter, which is Ecological Literacy. We have discussed already the different types of literacies, and now let's go back to nature. So, here are objectives. First is define ecological literacy, distinguish among environmental literacy, eco-literacy, and ecological literacy, describe an eco-literate person, and recognize individual and collective roles in protecting and rehabilitating the environment and ecosystem. So we are now at a critical point with many environmental issues such as climate change and rampant environment destruction. And we really can feel it, especially now it's really warm. Alienation from nature greatly contributes to the aggravation of these environmental problems. Ecological literacy is important to business and political leaders and to all levels of education. So everyone is affected with the effects of how people have mismanaged the ecosystem. There are lots of problems we experiencing right now. Every day our environment gets worse and it causes a lot of problems to animals and humans. Many would say this might be one of the effects of globalization. Others would also say human beings are the one destroying the environment. So in this lesson, we will know our rules in protecting and rehabilitating the environment and ecosystem. So ecological literacy refers to an individual's understanding not only of ecological concepts but also of his or her place in the ecosystem. So not only concepts but also of his or her place in the ecosystem. So we are not down to just a knowledge level, but then you have to understand your place. You have to analyze yourself also that or what actions you will be making, what decisions you should try and avoid. The term ecological literacy was first introduced by David Orr in 1989 in his essay Ecological Literacy. He indicated that knowing, caring, and practical competence from the foundation for ecological literacy. So again, not just knowing, not just caring, but also practical competence. Then he pointed out that the root of environmental crisis is the individual's inability to think about ecological patterns, systems of causations, and long-term effects of human action. So because if you do understand these things, then you might be able to know what the actions you should do. Thus, he emphasized the importance of experience in one's natural environment that can enable humans to shift perspective from one of an economic emphasis to one of balance amongst economics, ecology, and cultures, right? So, we must take note our experiences and try to think also the reasons, the effects, and how you felt in those experiences with regards to nature.
My name is Michaela Faith Gomez, and I'm going to deepen your understanding on what is ecological literacy. So, David Orr also argued that ecologically literate persons understands the environmental crisis in which and understand how people become so destructive. So, therefore, we need to identify the school students literacy level is necessary to step to investigate their behavior, attitudes, and behavioral intentions, and for also to create awareness of everyone. Second is it is important to foster correct knowledge to ensure positive approach to environment, and increasing concern with enhancing ecological literacy in society. So, dapat yun nato nga i-give ato ang understanding of ato ang knowledge about sa or how our nature system works. And if or how our living things or being interacted to each other or depends to each other. Kay if wala ang nature, wala man sad. So, fourth is ecological literacy is meant to enable conscious and participant citizens to make environmental issues according to Jordan 8 al 2009. So, ang goal sa ecological literacy is to encourage or help children understand and appreciate the environmental dynamics that plays the role around them. And it is involved showing how wildlife and their habitat can be protected while still taking into account of humans' need to the landscape of survival.
Characterizing an eco-literate person. So Dr. Tom Puck of Lakehead University characterized an ecologically literate person of the 21st century as the responsible lifelong learner who strives to improve the human condition and the environment within the context of self, human groups, the biosphere, and the ecosphere. So this is someone who has knowledge and understanding of how nature's systems work and how all living beings are dependent on and interconnected with each other. So in order for the ecologically literate person to achieve the ultimate goal aforementioned, one should be an inquirer. So this is someone who actively secures the basic skills and knowledge in order to carry out ecological responsibilities. So this is someone who asks questions and seeks to learn anything with regards to ecology in order to be ecologically responsible, in which ang goal is protecting the environment and its resources. So this will enable them to reach their own potential and place in physical and natural environment. So next is a reflective learner. So this is someone who understands the value and limitation of human knowledge, the power and limitation of the natural world, the role of intuition in real-life pursuits, and the role of self as it is manifested in one's personal narrative. So in short, someone who is connected with the world and themselves. So this is making learning a conscious process where you ask questions and think critically about your own ideas. So next is intelligently self-directed. So someone who engages in self-appraisal, meaning evaluating one's own worth, significance, or status, sets new learning objectives, develops plans to achieve those objectives, carry out those plans in a flexible, directed inquiry manner, and reflects on the whole process. So in short, this is someone who makes use of all the available resources in solving problems and invents those that are not there, as well as recognize that their attitudes, behaviors, and problems reflect their own choices.
Morally responsible. It is the person who governs actions with precepts, responsibility, seeking justice and equality, maintains harmonious relationships. Then we have ecologically responsible, who embodies ecological ideals in daily life. And lastly, we have the seek self-transcendence, who moves beyond the limitations of personal ego by identifying with human groups. Flora and fauna, ecosphere, transcend the individual life in scope and time. The ecological literate person of the 21st century has a positive view of life, grounded in the faith of interconnectedness, and has a capacity to competently perform significant life work and related tasks, such as a view enables her to look upon the human experience positively and all living things compassionately.
The concept of eco-literacy shares many similarities with frameworks of environmental literacy. Both frameworks emphasizes the development of affective, the knowledge, the cognitive skills, and behavioral components related to sustainability. Additionally, eco-literacy introduces spiritual holistic components expressed in terms of celebration of creation, spirits, and reverence of the earth and the expansion of the soul. Also, an ecoliterate person is prepared to be an effective member of sustainable society with well-rounded abilities of head, the heart, hands, and spirit, comprising an organic understanding of the world and participatory action within and with the environment. An eco-literate person is someone who is prepared to be an effective member of a sustainable society. This person has a knowledge, the skills, and attitudes necessary to understand the complex interrelationships between humans and the environment and to take action to promote sustainability. Environmental literacy includes general conceptions of the environment as a problem field of values. This means that individuals need to understand the interconnectedness of environmental issues and the values that underpin environmental problems. Dominant educational objectives in environmental literacy include developing problem-solving skills, developing a system of ethics, and adapting environmentally responsible behaviors. Next is the primary pedagogical approaches for environmental literacy, which include cognitive, the pragmatic, and affective or moral approaches. So cognitive approaches emphasizes the development of knowledge and understanding, while pragmatic approaches focuses on the development of skills and abilities to apply that knowledge in practical situations. Also, affective or moral approaches focuses on the development of attitudes, the values, and beliefs related to environmental issues. Lastly, the examples of strategies for environmental literacy, which include the case study analysis, issue analysis, and problem-solving projects. These strategies help individuals to develop critical thinking skills and apply their knowledge and skills to the real world situations. Analysis and clarification of values and criticism of social values are also important strategies for developing environmental literacy.
Ecological literacy refers to an individual's understanding not only of ecological concepts, but also of his or her place in the ecosystem. Levels is a necessary step to investigate their behavior, attitudes, sensitivity, and behavioral attention. So ecological literacy is the knowledge and understanding of how nature systems work and how all living beings are dependent on the interconnected with each other. So ecological literacy is a course that raises awareness by educating students on the concepts and workings of environmental systems, how they enable life on Earth, and how we might live more harmoniously and in accordance with them. So general conceptions of environment, which include object of study system. Next is dominant educational objectives, which include acquire knowledge of ecological concepts, develop skills related to the scientific method. Next is develop system thinking and understanding environmental realities in view of informed decision making. So next is primary pedagogical approaches, which include the cognitive and experiential. And there is an example of strategies. So, example of strategies is observation, demonstration, experimentation, case study, environmental system analysis, and construction of ecosystem models.
So next is ecoliteracy. Ecological also refers as in ecoliteracy. Ecoliteracy is a knowledge and understanding of environmental issues that affect our planet. As you can see in the table, general conceptions of environment and ecoliteracy include shared resources for sustainable living Gaia. Living Gaia means the hypothesis that the living and non-living organisms of Earth function. So next is the dominant educational objectives. First, it promote and contribute to economic development that address social equity and sustainability. Second is develop the many dimensions of the being's interaction with all aspects of the environment. So the third is develop an organic understanding of the world and participatory. So the primary pedagogical approaches includes the cognitive, pragmatic, holistic, intuitive, or creative. Examples of strategies in ecoliteracy includes case study, social marketing, sustainable consumption activities, sustainable living management project immersion, visualization, and creative workshops.
So, greening initiatives of colleges and universities. So, these are programs and practices aimed at promoting sustainability and reducing the environmental impact of academic institutions. So, greening initiatives, though it is a challenging and demanding one, yet it has significant benefits in a long run. So, before we proceed in that 5 significant benefits, so first, according to NEIWPCC, a green campus is a place where environmentally responsible practice and education go hand in hand and where environmentally responsible tenants are borne out by example. So let's go back to the significant benefits of greening initiatives. So the first one is the environmental and economic sustainability. Environmental and economic sustainability is a system-wide culture of sustainability. It helps enhance and preserve institution values as of today and for the future. So the second one is the reputation as a leader through example. And as universities and colleges, they offer courses like engineerings and laws. And colleges and universities need to examine their own organizations and implement on their own campuses on what they and the public expected their industry to do. If you're a leader, you should be a good role model to everyone so that they will follow you and you yourself will serve as their inspiration and they will become a better person. And the best quote in here is be a leader, not a boss.
So the third significant benefits of greening initiatives is the economic benefits. A routine curriculum-based environmental audit program that reveals waste and inefficiency associated with campus activities, coupled with the identification of environment-friendly alternatives, can yield significant cost savings for the institution. So we can discover steps or often sample steps that our institution can take to correct and improve environmental problems on campus. So by acting on recommendations resulting from these audits, colleges and universities can realize cost savings by reducing energy and water use, minimizing the campus waste stream, improving systems reliability, and increasing the efficiency of heating
air conditioning systems. As real-life work experience for students, environmental audits and pollution prevention evaluations can be integrated into the curriculum, providing students with hands-on investigative and problem-solving experience that they can take with them when they enter the workforce. So this experience not only makes your students more marketable, it also provides them with kinds of broad thinking skills that allow them to succeed and thrive once they are employed. And then lastly is the improved quality of life in the campus, which is a green campus is a cleaner, safer, and healthier place to live and work.